Hi, hello, welcome to our Creator Camp live show, episode 3. I'm so excited to see you all here today with us, and I hope you're having the best day ever, the best Tuesday ever. Welcome on in. My name is Snackless. I work on community engagement on Creator Camp at Twitch, so I work on the website, everything for our Creator Camp sessions at TwitchCon, and I run this show, and I would love to introduce you to my co-host, Okaydrian. Welcome, Okaydrian.
Hello, it's nice to be here. I appreciate you having me. It's a great opportunity to learn more, to share more. You can never learn too much at Twitch. We were talking about this earlier, where I've been here for so long, 11 years, and I'm still learning new stuff every day thanks to Creator Camp and everyone else around me. So this is great.
Wow, that's quite the shout out. Awesome. You've been streaming on Twitch a long time. So have I. I think I'm this going into my 10th year. So I've been streaming on Twitch for a long, long time. I know you've been on here quite a long time as well.
Yes, I've been fortunate enough to be streaming since 2014. January, I celebrated my 10-year partner anniversary. I was made a Twitch ambassador in 2021. And on my channel, we do everything. I stream handheld games, vinyl music. I do educational streams. Is how I got my start. And I do hosting and interviewing. So you may have seen me at TwitchCon 2022 as the host, E3, GameStop TV, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
That's amazing. Okay, make sure to check out Okaydrian's stream because they stream absolutely everything. And welcome on into our Creator Camp live show, our interactive educational show where we teach you all the ins and outs and secrets to streaming essentials. You're going to learn about content creation, community building, monetization, and more. So whether you are newer to Twitch or you're a veteran like us, we will make sure that you can take something away from our show. I want to tell you something really exciting. I've been working a lot on a Creator Camp site behind the scenes, and I'm so excited to tell you that we have a massive update coming out in July. So stay tuned for a nailed down date on there, but there's going to be new videos, new information, and lots of updated content. We've already started updating it. So if you haven't checked out the site, I would recommend you do so. And just because you tuned in early, I'm going to tell you what our 2 next categories are that are going to round out that level 1 content. And they are content categories on Twitch, which would be everything from IRL to just chatting to co-working to fitness and health, and also an updated monetization section. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open for those updates that are coming. But today on this show, we are going to be talking all about growing your community on Twitch. We're going to talk about branding that stands out, event planning, how to use your VODs to make clips and use them to your advantage across socials. And we're just so excited to be here to give you new information, ideas, and inspiration, and hopefully help you have more successful streams. We do want to tell you that today's show does feature Q&A, so you can feel free to ask a question at any time during the show, and our producers will pull them and leave them at the end, and we will get through as many Q&A questions as we can. So please feel free to ask as many questions as you like, and as always, we will do our best to get to them. So with that being said, let's hop on into it. Our first topic of the day today is going to be personal branding. So establishing your brand will help you stand out from the crowd and make you easily recognizable. Your branding will tell people who you are, what you offer, and what you stream on Twitch. So we want to dive right on into it about why branding is important. You know, your branding is a snapshot of you. And so when people see part of your branding, we want them to think immediately and recognize that that is part of you, an extension of you. Okay, Adrian, let's talk a little bit about why should we think about branding in the first place? Why is that so important?
I believe that branding is so important on Twitch because there are people who are streamers that, even though if I don't frequent their channel, or I've only been there one time, or I do frequent it quite often, I recall everything about their stream, sometimes not because of the content, because of everything else surrounding the content. There's a common theme, there's a common color, there's something else that makes me think of their content all the time. One of the ways that I word it is that it leaves an imprint on me. So whenever I think about this content creator, whomever it may be, I think about a certain logo, I think about a certain fruit, I think about a certain object. Like everything is associated with this streamer because I've been indoctrinated by that one brand no matter what. So all someone has to do is just bring up a noun and I go, oh yeah, that's so and so. Super important.
Yes, honestly, that's so real because my favorite fruit is an apple. And I, as you know, am snackless because somebody out there, stole all my snacks. And I went to an event one time at TwitchCon. I think it was like Ubisoft or something. And one of their community managers was a vegan. And so I offered them a Canada snack. I was like, oh, would you like this Canadian snack? And they said, no, but I want the apple that's in your purse. And I was like, wait, how do you know that I have an apple in my purse? And they're like, because you always have snacks, and apples are my channel points and they're my favorite food. And so a lot of my community associates apples with me. And so anytime where you have something that resonates with you and your community that helps you stand out, you can definitely use that opportunity to lean into it. Absolutely. It's a great way to extend what you've already created. And sometimes the silliest moments or like the weirdest things can kind of become like what you're known for. So don't be afraid to like lean into the things that make you you, whether they're like an apple or a color or you doing the same sort of intro or outro. Leaning into what makes you is definitely going to be part of what makes you special and makes your stream stand out. So let's talk a little bit deeper about branding. So what really makes a good brand? Okaydrian touched on this a bit about a brand being memorable, but also recognizable. You want your brand to be memorable, but also stand out from the crowd a little bit. So, what is it about your branding and your profile pictures across your social media sites and your emotes that makes people associate that with you, and how is it unique? Okay, Jordan, can you tap in a little bit about what you feel like makes a great brand?
Yeah, I think what makes a good brand is that it's memorable. It's something you're always going to think about and recall with certain companies, like even big companies you think about right now. I was fortunate enough to go to the St. Jude Summit, and I saw the St. Jude logo everywhere, and it's right behind me everywhere too. And so when I see the St. Jude logo, I know what the color scheme is, I know what the logo looks like, and I see it in different places. And so it makes me not only want to represent the brand, but I'm never going to forget it. And you can think about that with anything. Think about Twitch, the logo for Glitch. Like you see Glitch on everything, or you can go out in public and if you see Glitch logo on anything, you go, hey, wait a minute, are you a part of Twitch? Do you stream on Twitch? Do you watch Twitch? So to me, a brand is immediate identification. And so you have to consider different things along the way that make it easier to identify these brands. And like you said earlier, what means the most from you? Because I've seen creators who have streamed for 6 years, and on their 6 years, something funny or cool happens, and that becomes their new imprint. That becomes their new brand, and it takes off, and their channel explodes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Leaning into those special moments is a big part about Twitch. And it's so cool because those Twitch kind of leans into those moments, special moments that happen just because you were there with all these things aligning in the game and aligning in your chat and aligning with your alerts. That's what makes Twitch so cool and so special. So when we think about branding, let's talk a little bit about the things that you can consider to equal a great brand. So something that we can think about is we touched base on this, but what makes you unique? Is it something you wear? Is it the content that you stream? Do you have a super, super big fascination with Miyazaki movies and you just absolutely love soot sprites? Are you super into, making miniatures? You can lean into those things that are part of your stream background, games that you play, things that you're interested in. Maybe you also love Baldur's Gate 3 and you can lean into those things. And then once you lean into those things that make you unique and make you stand out, try to make a theme with those. We want cohesion across our branding. It's not really the best when we have a bunch of different factors and things and we're kind of shoving them together. It can definitely feel a bit disjointed at times. And we really want things to feel smooth and we want them to kind of make sense. When you think about your branding and you really look at it as a whole, does it make sense? Does it go together? And that can lean all the way into colors. And a little bit on color theory. So sometimes it's good to look at your branding and look at what you've set up with a fresh perspective and see, is that visually appealing? Is it memorable? Is it all of those things that we talk about when we think about what we should consider? Okay, Drew, what about you? What are some things that stand out to you when you think about what you need to consider in regards to building a brand?
I think the thing you just touched on, color, is huge because for a long time on Twitch, you couldn't choose your main primary color scheme, like for your profile and your background, things like that. You could change your text color, but I think it was maybe around 3 years ago or 4 years ago where they allowed you to choose one primary color that was the theme for your entire stream. And that was huge because if you think about it, that helps set the tone for your entire stream. So if you're someone, for example, who loves apples and you think, okay, I want to lean into the theory of red, then you can have a red apple color as your text color, as the theme for your entire stream, everything else. So color theory is huge. And There was someone earlier in the chat who mentioned that their their stream content is mostly just them throwing things and yelling and everything else. And the thing is, I think that's the kind of thing you can lean into. You can use that as
Absolutely.
part of your brand. You can have a chair throwing emote. You could have your
Mhm.
logo being like broken glass of what your logo used to be. So things like that are things you take stock of and think about and go, how can I bring this into my brand?
Yep, 100%. I think that's a really great call out is making, you can put anything into your brand. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Actually, it's the perfect segue to talk a little bit more about where can we incorporate branding. Sometimes we forget that Twitch tools have allowed you to customize a lot of different parts of your channel and your page. And I think that it's really, really key to think about where can I incorporate my branding that maybe I haven't yet. So some easy ones that we think about are on stream visuals. My goodness. So maybe you have a cool overlay. Maybe it's your intro and your outro. Those are great places to incorporate your branding. Maybe you put your logo. I know my best friend, the Mav, shows in the chat, and she has this really awesome logo, and she keeps that up on her screen so that when she creates that VOD content, you know that it's associated with her, and everybody knows that it's unicorns and pinks and that it means Mav. And so I love that. That's a great way to do that. Another place where I love to see branding, and this is something that I look for. I'm in Twitch streams every day looking for, the upper echelon of creators, and that doesn't necessarily mean the biggest creators. It means that people who have really, really thought about their branding and put it in all of their elements as channel points. I love to see branding, colors, and unique emotes or images used in channel points. That's another place that I love to see. I also love to see an emote suite that is really, really thorough and then once again cohesive. I know there's like a lot to think about when you're branding, but those are some of the things that stand out to me. What about for you, Okaydrian? Where are some places that you've seen people incorporate branding in a unique way, or places that you have put your branding in?
For me, I think branding can go many different places. The cool thing about Twitch and having your Twitch page is that you have complete ownership of what it is you want to do and where you want to put it. And it starts with, I think, your overlay. If you're not online, because maybe you're not streaming 24/7, you're not doing 24-hour streams like, back in the day, so you shouldn't, stay healthy. But if you're
Right.
doing that, you give your stream and your opportunity to have an offline page. You have your trailer for your stream. And think about for that hot minute where you introduce someone to your stream, is your logo present? Are your colors present in that game trailer that you have that represents you? What about your overall layout? When you have your socials, your bios, your games that you played recently? That's an opportunity to put things right there. I know Jade's Skin Team, when she does like a subathon, she incorporates that in all the graphics, like you mentioned, for channel points and redemptions. Everything ties into branding. It can be your emotes. It could even be a soft lower third where you set the opacity to 50%. So even when you have your VODs up, you have a location that shows this is my channel, this is my gameplay, and it's a constant reminder of the name or brand of your channel right there. But you can put it anywhere. Even if you start your own clothing line, you can put your branding right there. I've seen people go to TwitchCon and conventions and hand out stickers and business cards. And guess what goes in the business cards? Your brand. So it goes everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. Those are some great tips for sure. And one that I know my manager at Twitch always suggests is having the same profile picture across all of your
Yeah.
socials and across everything, because I have this great profile picture I started with on Twitch, and now I feel like I can't change it because I've had the same profile picture since I started streaming. And even though it's like 9 years later, I feel like I look relatively the same, but I'm too scared to change it because people really associate that with me. And so people definitely get to know you and your brand, and they start to associate it quick. So maybe take a look at your branding and think, where can I add cohesion? What can I add to it? And is it standing out, right? Is it meeting all of these metrics that I would like it to? So let's transition a little bit into emotes and custom emotes. Emotes are used across Twitch to communicate an array of emotions, and they can act as a powerful branding tool for you. The best universal emotes are ones that showcase you and your brand outside of your channel. So custom emotes are really important because they're a great way to reward subscribers of your channel, but they also act as advertisement for you. So if you have a great set of emotes and people feel compelled to use them across Twitch, they are kind of an example of what you and your branding stand for. So they could be representing emotion, community building, inside jokes, memories. Emotion is a great one. You know, I love a great emote. There's like a few emotions that I feel like I need to convey all of the time. And like one of them would be like a wave. That's a pretty basic one. But me, I love a kiss. I love a cute kiss emote. Like that's one where I'm looking for also, I love the one where it's trending where it's like a flower. I don't have that yet. But I
Oh,
think those
flowers
are
are so
so cute.
good.
But flower,
Yeah.
it's kind of like hello. What about you? Like, what's an emote when you subscribe to someone or you get gifted a set of emotes? What do you look for? Like, what's one that you really want?
I feel like we're making ourselves easy targets to have other people sub to their channel. Like, oh, you want a flower emote? Here you go, sub to my channel. And we'll be like, okay, see you there. But it does work. Like for me, I love I love faces that are blank when someone's nonplussed and they don't know
Oh,
how to react. Because I feel like really good emotes too are I love when there's a flood of emotes and everyone having the same reaction. So if someone's on stream and they're playing a game where they use the wrong action in a game or a Soulsborne, they go the wrong direction and everyone spams a look like this because the entire chat feels the same way because they know what's about
yeah,
to happen. I love the convergence of emotions that happens on stream like that, where everyone goes, "Uh-oh, we know what's about to happen, but no spoilers." Shared
yeah.
emotion is a wonderful feeling, and Twitch is a great place to do it, where you all feel the same way and you can all showcase it. And sometimes it's not even about quantity; it's quality. You can have
Yeah,
four good
absolutely.
emotes, but those four good emotes are dynamite. That's all you need.
100%. Speaking of that, chat, let's see some action. I want to see what some of your favorite emotes are. Let me see them. Light up that chat. Let me see those favorite emotes. Maybe you'll see one that scrolls by that you just must have, you know? Must have emotes. I love a good must have emote, and I'd love to see which ones stand out for you. So let me see them, and maybe we'll all be able to pick up an extra one to add to our collection today. Yeah, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of high end chat, a lot of like, hey, I need a
Love
waving
high.
emote or a hello. Yeah, we love a good one. Oh, science, I
Oh,
like that
pitchfork
one.
one. I like that.
Okay, lightsabers, those are sick. These
Big
are
fan.
awesome.
The drumming
This is
emote,
great.
good.
Oh yeah, that's a really great one too. 100%. There are so many ways that you can utilize an emote. Thanks for sharing those with us. Those ones are really cute. And,
These are very
you
cute.
know, leaning into what makes you and your stream unique and your branding, that's all part of choosing an emote that's going to be a great use for you. So before we move on from that, let's talk a little bit more about, let's dive into one more of these things. So we have
Sure.
emotion, we've talked about for sure. We've talked a little bit about, um, you know, let's talk more about community builders actually.
Sure.
So emotes that are tied to an event that is reoccurring in your stream. So what is something that happens all the time in your stream? Do you have a raid emote? Those are also very, very common ones. Are you a screamer? Like, do you yell all the time? Are you a rager? Or a toxic? I know a lot of people who have a funny toxic emote. I have one that it's not toxic, but it's stinky, where you're like pinning your nose.
Stinky.
Yeah, stinky. It's like it would be my version of toxic, but those are my reactions and they mimic kind of what's happening. What are some that you've seen that are great uses of community building turned into an emote?
This is easy for me. I'm a sucker for seasonal emotes. If you are someone who takes
Mm,
the time to take your existing emotes and just have a slight change for Halloween, for the holiday season, for your birthday, for the summer, like any event you can do, because depending on how many emotes you have a lot of variance right there where you can put those slots in there and just swap them out when the season arrives. Like you can keep them stored there. And when it's time for St. Patrick's Day, for example, you just swap the emotes out, you update your stream, and it's a great way to have people look forward to it. So if I've been in your community for, let's say, 11 months, I know what's coming up, and I can't wait to be there for the 12th month to use your emotes at that time. And the cool part is, you can always use emote attribution to reward the artist who made them for you. To say, this wonderful emote was made by this artist. So the artist gets a plug, and you get more emotes. More people hanging out.
100%. Yeah, I love that. That's a really great call out. Is That's another thing that can make emotes stand out is if you have seasonal emotes for Halloween or Easter or spring. Even in your branding, I know for my branding, I have like an intro and an outro cute overlay scene, and I have one for every season. And so they never know when it's going to change, but I do change it for every season, and it's like a great way once again to loop that branding all together. Okay, that was awesome. I love seeing all of those favorite emotes in chat. They're so cute. Also, I see a lot of people, shout out to people who are
Ooh,
making their own emotes. Okay, that is absolutely awesome.
that's
We
very
love
impressive.
talented queens and kings in the chat. That is incredible. Let's segue a little bit into something else about community building that is a really great idea that we can try, which is event planning. Events can lead to an increase in community engagement, growth, and can help you hit new goals. And the best events incorporate interactive elements that are aligned with your community and are united around a goal. So, what do I mean by an online event? I mean a special stream where you gather your community together to achieve a goal, celebrate a milestone, or have a birthday party, a stream anniversary, anything that you want to celebrate or work towards together. You can kind of think of it as having like an online party for your community. And events like that matter because they're just such a cool opportunity for you to engage with your community. You can acknowledge hard work that you've put towards fundraising that they put together. Maybe you were fundraising something or saving up some of your stream money and you were able to buy something new for stream and it's a celebration. They often result in increased support, and they also create one-of-a-kind moments that you can look back together, clip, celebrate, remember fondly. They're really, really awesome opportunities to incorporate into what you've got going on in stream. But there are a few things that you do need to know when you think about building an event. And so, Okaydrian, let's talk a little bit about what do you think people need to think about? Like, what are the specifics when planning and building events?
I think first and foremost, you have to have a reason to have an online event. There has to be a purpose. So you should put some planning into this event. You can do a spur of the moment one if you want to, but I think it does you get so much more mileage out of saying, okay, I think 1 month from now, 3 weeks from now, even 6 months from now, I want to do this event because one, it gives your people and community a chance and heads up to do it. Two, it gives you an opportunity to advertise it on your socials and your Discord. People who come in the channel saying, I'm happy you're here. If you don't like this, come back in 3 weeks. We're doing this special event. Two, it's an interaction piece. So if I come in there and I come to this event, I know what the expectation is and I know how I can interact with it as well. And three, the timing of it too. Like, for example, me. One thing that I love to see in October are all the horror streams that happen, right? Because it's Halloween. Personally, me, I can't do horror games because I scare easily in video games and only in video games. So instead, I thought, what could I do? So October, I do a thing called Hard Games Month. And this year is the 8th annual. And every October, I spend the entire month playing hard games because that's scary to me. And the entire time I plan for it, I have an overlay for it, I have advertisements for it, and people in the stream who are part of the community look forward to it every year. The countdown begins around August. So that's the kind of thing you can do involving that, planning for it, even for charity, whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. I know May is a really big month for St. Jude, and a lot of us have been fundraising for St. Jude Play Live. And that includes Okaydrian and myself. And
Yes.
we both had some really successful fundraising this month. And it's all about leaning into your community and knowing what would interest them. This month, I gave away custom friendship bracelets, and they could be sweet or spicy, and they got to choose, and I will mail it to them.
That's
And
nice.
they are all custom, and they're like a really special thing. And they're something that I know my community looks forward to and has interest in. I also raffle off Canadian snacks because I am from Canada. And so those are just things that I do to lean into that. And so it's all about having a purpose, right? So what's the purpose? It's to fundraise for St. Jude, right? What are the must-see moments? You know, what's the state like silly things that are going to happen? Are there going to be milestones and rewards? Speaking of scary games, I too don't care for a scary game. What am I doing as a reward for raising money for St. Jude? Playing a scary game. You know, I don't know. I thought
Really?
it was a good idea. Yeah, they'll be screaming. I'm so sorry.
Did you make the goal?
Yeah, they did. They raised
Oh
over
no.
4,000. I know. I don't yeah, I kind of
Congrats.
like have amnesia. I was like, who put that goal on there? Like who said that I was going to do that? Me. I said it. I don't know. It worked. I guess we can look forward to that. So, you know, these
I'll
are
be
all
there.
things that you can kind of think about. Come on in. You can use my screaming emote. These are all things that you can lean into when planning a successful event. And, you know, having rewards and surprises, those are great things to kind of lean into and help. And I would encourage you, if you haven't hosted an event before on your Twitch channel, to try one out. It can be anything, you know, it can be because it's your cat's birthday. It can be because it's Friday and every Friday you have pizzas. You know, it can literally be whatever you want, and you can tie it to anything. So consider planning a special interaction and reward for your community today. And speaking actually of community, I wanted to bring attention to one of our community engagement programs, which is meetups. So we have a really cool program called Twitch Meetups, where broadcasters and communities gather together to share their love of Twitch. At these events, you can network with other people, learn more about streaming, and grow IRL friendships. I would definitely encourage you to check out these events. They're really fun. They're really cool. I love going to them. I love making new friends. They really foster collaboration and connection with other creators. And they're just a really fun time and a cool opportunity. You might meet Twitch staff, you might meet other streamers, you might meet people who work in the industry. Like I've met everything from like devs to affiliates to community members, and I've had a really great interaction at them.
Sure.
So what about you, Okaydrian? Have you been to any meetups? What was your experience?
I've been to 4 meetups, 2 of them were in Chicago, and it's so funny because my buddy Brandon was like, "You should totally come out here," and I'm like, "Ooh, asking an introvert to go outside with people and shake hands and talk? I don't know about that one, chief." But I went out there and it's just like what you said. You have an opportunity to meet new people, you get to meet developers. The cool thing about meetups is that you never know who you're gonna meet with and who you're gonna bond with and what happens afterwards. I'm not saying you go to look for opportunities, but you go for an opportunity to speak with people because I've met people that 3 years down the line, they're doing a cool project. They remember me and say, "Hey, do you want to be a part of this?" Or I have a project that I remember them from and say, "I remember you from Twitch Chicago. We should totally do this thing together." So it gives you an opportunity to find like minded people who are all in the Twitch sphere. And then later on, when you go to an event like a TwitchCon, you have a high likelihood of running into those people too. But it's a great way to spend an evening, to hang out, to have shared and similar interests, and really vibe in the Twitch sphere.
Yeah, absolutely. We love a Twitch community meetup. So check around your location and see if there's one near you. And I hope you have a great opportunity and experience just like Okaydrian and I have. Let's segue into our next section on today's show, which is all about social media strategy. Social media strategies can help you reach new audiences, connect with your current one, and also extend your reach outside of your stream. So, we're going to talk a little bit about strategies that we like and lean into and why we choose those ones, and how your social media can be a representation and an extension of you and your brand. It is a representation of you when you're not live. And so, let's talk a little bit about I think probably I would argue one of the most important parts is like making attention grabbing content and how you can apply that perspective to what you're posting. Okay, Dream, I'm going to tag you in to talk a little bit about how do you make content that stands out?
It's such a difficult question because I feel like the social media landscape is always changing. There's always a brand new social place to join. There's always the idea of, do I join this place? Do I take part in it? Should I join every social landscape that exists? But I think that you start with what you're able to control, which is you can utilize clips, you can utilize moments, you can utilize things that are adjacent to your stream. A lot of the best social medias that I see are slight continuations or they precede the stream themselves. Here's a cool thing that's happening right now. You might see that on stream later on. Or then later on, they show a clip or something else that happened on the stream. Like I've seen people who post a post after stream and it's like a pile of eggs broken on the floor that says, "Today's stream was wild." And my first reaction is thinking, what happened on stream? Why are there egg yolks all over the floor? But it's a continuation of that experience and it makes me want to hop back in there. So attention grabbing is just thinking, how do I connect this best to my stream? And does it best represent who I am on my stream?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some great points. And just really leaning in, once again, like leaning into you, what makes your content unique and funny, and really like what makes it stand out, right? And what interests your community online is probably what's going to interest them when you're not live. So let's lean into what types of content can we share when we're not live. So one of those would be short form content, which I cannot encourage enough. Here
Oh
we
yeah.
have an example of Curious Joy and their social feed, and they've got a variety of things going on here, right? So they're sharing clips from stream, they're sharing stills, we're sharing images. They're also letting you know what the schedule is going to be for the later that week. These are all great uses of social media. I think being able to highlight what the best moments of stream were, or the craziest moments, or the most heartfelt moments, those are really great opportunities that we can share in short form content. And you know, it's just a great way to use your long form content, right? Take your VODs, create a highlight. You can trim, chop, merge, add an intro, add an outro. Really doing something with your content and transforming it for social media is really key. I know another great way, like I love to share photos of my adventures and kind of what I'm up to, whether we're traveling to TwitchCon EU or we're coming back from the St. Jude Summit. It's really fun to share a photo and loop everyone in on all the fun things that you're doing. And personally, I also love to keep my eyes on upcoming games that I might want to play or connections that I'd like to forge with. I like to play a lot of cute indie games. And so forging those connections across social media is another great way to utilize that. And lastly, don't be afraid to share your thoughts. Social media is there for people to be able to interact with you, and having conversations on social media is a great way to utilize that and make some friends, make some opportunities for collaboration and get to know people a little bit better. All right. I feel like we should kind of jump into the one that I want to spend the most time on, which is VODs and
Oh
clips.
yeah.
I feel like
Oh
we
yeah.
could have its own episode. Let's talk a little bit about VODs and clips on Twitch. Repurposing your VODs to showcase and highlight the best parts of your stream and then sharing them with others is the best way to use a VOD. You can use your clips to share funny, heartfelt, or passion filled moments, and all of those things can help attract new people to you and your content. So, we're going to do a kind of a deep dive into VODs here. If there was one thing that I could tell you about your VODs, it would be to do something with your VOD. Quite literally anything. I said this to Okaydrian when we were writing
Yeah.
this. I was like, please just do anything with it. Put it anywhere. The worst case is letting your VOD expire and then not being able to utilize that in some kind of way. Can you talk a little bit about how you utilize your VODs and what works for you and how you kind of create a system to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think over the years, I found different ways to utilize my VOD. I feel like the first and earliest thing you can do is just take the VOD that you had, take the stream that you have, and give people an opportunity to watch later on. I legit have people in my community who it's funny to say this. If there's a certain game that I'm playing right now or a certain piece of content I'm doing right now, and they're like, you know what? I love you to death, but I don't want to watch that. But what I will do is watch this VOD you have from 2 years ago because I love that content. So it gives people an opportunity to watch content that you previously made that they really, really enjoy. Or if you take vacation, which you should do because you want to take care of yourself, you give people an opportunity to consume your content when you're not there. It gives you an opportunity to highlight your best moments along the way, too. It gives you a chance to express yourself in a way where you can kind of chop up your best moments of the year or your best moments in the month. But your VODs are there to give people a snapshot of what's happened lately. And the last thing you want it to do is just to go away. And there are a lot of times where there are VODs that I've made or didn't make. And I said, I really wish I'd have kept that because I really enjoyed that game and I can't remember how far I got into it. So it becomes a bookmark for it too. But the thing is, it's just like you said, do something with your VODs. And you don't know what's going to work until you try something.
Yeah. And your VODs can do more for you than sometimes we think. Like sometimes we take it for granted and we're just like, okay, I'm going to, chop up this VOD a little bit. I'm going to put it on YouTube. But, having your VODs somewhere else stands for your content, and it gives people a space and a place to see what you are creating and what makes you you. And so it's a really, really great way to continue to extend yourself outside of your stream when you're not live, because we all can't be live 24/7, as Okaydrian mentioned. And so these are really, really great ways to continue what you're already doing. And they're a great way to foster collaboration, celebrate goals, and cool things are happening. I often, I mentioned I love to share pictures on social media. Sometimes I'll also just share stills from stream. I'll just literally take a screenshot from my stream or a clip. Those are really great to show and highlight moments and say thank you to your community and lean into memorable streams. If you're not really sure, like sometimes it's like, okay, I have a ton of VOD content. Like, what am I going to do with that? Right? Like, what can I I lean into. Sharing and saving those memorable moments from stream, those are really great ones to lean into. Sponsored streams are another one that you can really utilize your VODs for. And in collaboration, kind of with thinking about sponsored streams, is when you have content that exists, it's an example that people can kind of look at. And we have this awesome asset here, and I'm going to tap Okaydrian in to kind of talk about the different types of the VODs and kind of like what they stand for and what people have used them for.
For sure. I mean, right here with all these VODs and clips that are present, you have different opportunities to take advantage of the VODs you have. So over there in the corner, we have Little Sia, and what Little Sia is celebrating is $500,000 for St. Jude. And the cool thing about VODs is that it's present and it's actionable. So I can tell you, I can't believe that one time we hit $500,000 for St. Jude. That's cool. I wish I could have been there. This is an opportunity for you to be there. So when you have a celebration or a milestone, something that's very important to you, VODs give you a chance to showcase that. And if it was successful and you want to repeat that success, your VOD gives you a look into the past to say, what did I do right that time? Oh, I did that. And you can repeat that. Sponsor streams, also huge. One, not only to showcase that you do sponsor streams, but two, in case other companies are wondering, do you do sponsor streams? Yeah, you do. So with your VODs up, you can use that in case you want to create a reel later on or give a location or an imprint. And right there, you can see the tune puts it right in the title, because titles, your going live message, all that ties into the message you're trying to create. What's the message? It's Norton Gaming. I can't even see the rest, but the most important part is there, which is this is a Norton Gaming stream for Norton 360. And that's all that I need to know for right now. Same for collaborative streams. So Super Shigi, wonderful person right here, is doing a interview stream for AAPI month. And that's wonderful because you want to celebrate the different types of ethnicities and people who are out there celebrating the different months and celebrations. So having a VOD to showcase that, to see how you celebrate each year in case you want to bring it back or showcase someone else, this is another way to do it. And then a little shameless plug up there too. I have myself for memorable streams. And the reason why this is memorable to me is because this was my first stream on Twitch, one of my first streams. So it actually tracks 11 years ago, my old layout, the game I was playing, but it allows me to have a footnote to see how I started, how far I've come, and showcasing other people. This is what I was doing back in the day. So when you tell people Twitch is, a marathon, not a sprint, you try your best every day to get better than your last stream, you can showcase, this is where I used to be, this is where I am now. So you can tell someone else to do the same thing. Just focus on your content, focus on your brand, grow it, and then see where you are year over year.
For real, that's so real. Have you ever? I've been on Twitch streaming for like almost 10 years, and like, wow, when I look at my original content, I'm like,
Oh my
it really
gosh.
just goes to show that you don't have to have the newest, best version of everything. I was sitting on a couch and it was broken, and it was like, you couldn't tell, but it was like being held up by a 4x4. And then on top of that, I didn't have any professional lighting. So as it would get dark, like I would just turn kind of gray like an alien. Like I literally,
Yeah.
you guys, it was like I was streaming off of a PlayStation with the PlayStation camera. It was so bad.
Yes.
It was so bad. And it didn't even get that much better when I finally got a PC, because it was like a used PC from a grungy gamer dude. Listen, I'm just telling you, you don't have to have it all. You don't have to figure it out when you first start streaming. And VODs are a great way to remember where you came from and celebrate where you've gotten to. I know I'm not the only person who has like a rags to riches story with your content creation or with your setup, but it's
I've
definitely
seen
a
9.5
journey.
saying, me too.
Yeah, it's relatable, 100%. And VODs are a great way to showcase all of those things. And definitely something that we recommend is that just to do something / use your VODs. Highlight the best parts of your stream, create clips, make short form content and share that. Get the stills from them, and don't let all of your hard work kind of slip away from you. So please do that.
Amen to that.
And yeah, please do something with your VODs. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about things to do with your VODs, and that would be clips. Clips are a perfect opportunity to capture a moment from your stream. Please create clips or have someone create clips for you. Don't be afraid to be the person also who is creating clips. Sometimes It would all be great if we could all afford our own social media manager and video editor, and they would comb all of our VODs and make all of our clips and post them for us. That would be amazing. But that's not the reality for a lot of us. And so don't be afraid to be the one who, watches that content back or has a button on their stream deck and hits clips. It's okay if you are the person who's doing the primary clipping on your account. And especially, as Okaydrian, when we were like writing this out, especially for that sponsor content, really make sure you can
Yes,
showcase
please.
right why you for sponsorship. Clips are a really great way to say thank you, to support that further, and work into the contracts that you're building out for sponsorships. So the one other thing about that is encourage your viewers to clip, encourage your mods to clip, say like, hey, can you please try to like get those funny moments. You can even say like, hey chat, can you clip that? Or you can say like, chat, did you get that? Those are great ways to like initiate clipping. And you can have your own rewards for thanking people for clipping, whatever that is that suits your community. But you can also lean into our new clips leaderboard that's been rolling out, and you should have it soon, if not already. And you can have your community start clipping and be rewarded today. Okay, Jen, let's talk about why people should take time to clip. Like, why should they care about clipping?
Clipping is I love clips because oftentimes if I don't have time to watch a stream, what I will watch is a clip because I want to know what happened. And to me, I'm not looking at the view count. I don't care how many people have watched the clip. I just want to know what happened with the clip, which is why it's so important. I think earlier the thing you mentioned, which means so much to me, is when you say, "Hey, chat, clip that," because two things can happen. One, chat will clip that and the clip leaderboard updates, and that's great. But sometimes when you say chat clip that, chat may not clip that. And that's okay because you can clip that. You can find a way to make it a hotkey. You can make it part of an accessory that you have where you clip that. And I think what it does is that it also builds ownership. So later on, when you showcase it and say, you had to have been here for these moments, check this clip out. I even know some people that when you raid them, a lot of times what it'll do is it'll play a most recent clip, or it'll auto generate a clip of a stream that happened recently and allows you to have a look into their stream and allows you to see what the stream is like. But also, clipping for sponsorship is so huge. When I was working on a game the previous years, one of the things I look for is, okay, what happened in there? I'm going to watch the VOD myself, sure, but clips are a great way to see how did you best take advantage of the content that was given to you. Think about all the times you sign up for a game key and someone says, here's our game key, put it in the title. And that's cool that you put it in the title, you had a VOD, but are you highlighting those moments, the best moments of that game key stream? So later on, when the CM or the interactive manager comes through and the influencer manager and they look for clips and they find them on your stream, they may feature that in a compilation video on their social channels for their company to say, look at these streamers who are enjoying the game for the game key that we gave. And that kind of stuff travels. So a month later, when brands are looking at you for a game key, they're going to see those social media posts and go, oh yeah, they're a reliable asset because they're talking about the game that they got for free. So take advantage of
No,
that.
seriously, I was gifted this cute box set for a new game that was coming out, and I happened to be friends with the person who was managing that, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, like it's really hard to find people who, they were gifted something, so there wasn't necessarily an obligation for them to post." And they were saying that it was hard to find that. So take
Yeah.
advantage of those opportunities as they present themselves. And I know you mentioned clips being featured. Let's talk a bit about actually featured clips on Twitch. These are huge. So when you visit someone's channel page, at the top of their, well, right underneath the banner at the top of their channel, it will have a section for featured clips. When I visit a new channel, I click into their featured clips. I want to see what's been
Yep.
clipped, what's funny, what's the vibe, like what's going on. And so do other people who are looking to sponsor content, people who are looking to get to know you better, maybe people who just found your stream and you've stopped streaming and they want to learn a little bit more about you. It's the perfect way to showcase you in short form content. And it's a great way to represent what you stand for and what your stream is like and kind of what the vibes are. And did you know that if you have featured clip set and you're clipping them, there's a higher rate of being shown on the discovery feed, which is recent. So that's absolutely awesome. There is, it's a great tool to utilize. So if you haven't checked, maybe you haven't looked at that recently, right? Like, what clips am I going to feature? What do I want to showcase? What is the best representation of me and my content? For me, it would probably be like really hype moments and me screaming. I'm sorry, that's just kind of how it is. Like, I'm being chased, I'm dead, something happened, something bit me in a repo, I don't know. Like, there's
But
always
that's
some kind of
you.
problem, you know, my home's on fire, like just can't get it together. Like, for me, those are things that would probably stand out. So you can think about what stands out for you, right? Maybe for education channels, that would be something totally different, right? What do you want to showcase? If you have an opportunity to present yourself, right? So if somebody new comes to your stream and you have like 30 seconds, you know, and you're not live, right? What would you want them to see? What would be a good representation of you? You know,
No,
feature clips
100%.
for the win.
Yeah,
Hmm.
feature clips are really good for that.
Absolutely. Okay, and coinciding with featured clips are also clips on mobile. And Okaydrian and I did a little bit of research into this section when we were writing this, and we had a few cool discoveries. Okaydrian, do you want to talk a little bit about clips on mobile?
Yes. So if you're watching, let's say on your mobile device, whatever it may be, on your cell phone, one thing that I selfishly don't want to do, sometimes I want to clip because I don't want to miss what's happening right now. Because for me, when I'm clipping a moment for a friend for my own channel, but most oftentimes for a friend, if I'm clipping something, that means something exciting is happening, has happened, but more stuff is happening. But the cool thing is, when you go to mobile and you clip a moment, as long as you're not going to the advanced editing screen, you can still watch the stream that's taking place. So when someone who's streaming says, "Hey, chat, can you clip that?" and you think, "I don't want to miss what's happening right now," you don't have to. You can go ahead, you can start clipping on mobile right there, and you can see what's happening on the screen right there as you make an active clip. Now, when you go forward, you want to start editing more and breaking down how much of the clip you want to, that may take you away from the stream, but you can still follow the action along the way while clipping on mobile. And after that, it makes it really easy to share it wherever you want to afterwards because that's how you build your brand. We were speaking earlier about the earlier points, building your brand, social media, that all ties into that clipping. So as you're clipping for someone else, they can take that and you can share it with them if you're an editor, put on the socials, and you hit 2 out of the 3 right there.
Yeah. Also, shout out to chat Cypher of Tier. I'm so sorry if I said your name incorrectly, but shout out for
Tanya.
mentioning channel trailers. Those are also huge. You know, people are coming to your channel for the very first time. What are they going to see? What's a great representation of you? That's another great way to showcase what you and your channel is all about. And once you have those clips, also do something with them, right? Export those clips somewhere else, right? Like go into your Twitch dashboard in the video manager and take your clips and share them on social media, share them where you share short form content. You know, let people see those funny and awesome moments. You went through all of the trouble to make these really great moments and make your stream stand out, and just make sure that you utilize that. Utilize that, share it with people, let them be a part of those moments, and highlight what makes you you and makes your stream stand out. On that note, there are also settings in moderation that you can set for how people are able to clip in your channel. So, certain categories or how long they've been following your channel. And it is always a good idea to review what clips have been made and just keep an eye on those just to make sure that you are happy with the representation of those clips and your channel.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Amazing.
that means a lot too, especially when you mentioned the channel trailer earlier. Offline to me is everything because sometimes when I get rated by someone that I don't know, one of the first things I'll do after stream is I'll go to their channel to find out more about them. And if they're not there, you know what gives me a snapshot into their stream? One, their channel trailer. Two, their branding. And three, their feature clips, which are right there on the stream. So I can go ahead and click the first 5 clips and get an idea of what kind of person this is, what their channel is all about, how I may know them, and then find out, is this someone that I want to collaborate with in the future? Is this someone that I want to raid back to? And that's important to take a look at it yourself. Look at your own stream from an objective outside view. Go to your channel right now, look at the offline page, and see, does this best represent how my stream is with my feature clips and my channel trailer? For sure.
That's great advice. Like, that's huge. I would even take that advice and I would apply that to like all your social media, anywhere that you're kind of present, right?
Yeah.
So not only my Twitch channel, right? But does my social media represent me? Like when I come there, is the banner representational of like what the vibes are, the colors, the theme, all those kinds of things? Is that all together in one cohesive ball that represents you, what you stand for, and your vibes? So it's actually a great suggestion and great practice to take take another look. And that's kind of what Creator Camp is all about. It's all about reminding you, like, everyone knows that we have the ability to add a channel trailer, but have you done it? Have you updated it? Is the information accurate, right? You know, these are this is all about Creator Camp, and it's just giving you a new lens or a new perspective on something that you probably already knew a lot about. We get to move into one of my favorite parts of the show, which is our Q&A section of the show, where we answer questions that you've asked throughout the show. Now is also a great time to ask other questions if you had any questions about any of our topics today. So creating events, attending meetups, creating clips, using VODs, what can I share on social media, as well as branding, anything to do with branding, how I can stand out, what's the best way to do something. Now is a perfect way to pop those in chat, and we'll add them to our collection and answer as many as we can for you. So hopping right into that, we have our first question from Uncle Baby. How do you strike a balance between getting a fresh look in your branding versus changing too soon, too often? Oh, great question. That's absolutely awesome. And that's exactly kind of what I'm experiencing right now with my profile picture. To me, I'm like, okay, people recognize that profile picture. To them, it means snackless. It still relatively looks like me. I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to change a good thing that is working. I've seen people rebrand their stream and it be successful. I've also seen people rebrand and then move back. Once you've established yourself and you're known for something, it can be quite difficult to change. That being said, if you're changing your color scheme, like, I'm all for it, right? You want to do an emote refresh, new sub badges, those are great things to change. But when you change like your name or things that are really, really inherently tied to you, it can kind of not, it can be received poorly. And so it's definitely something to think about. I don't know that we should necessarily look at it as like changing too soon / too often. I would maybe suggest a different perspective, like, what in my branding isn't cohesive and why would I change that? So a really great like suggestion is like what I experienced this. So I was updating Creator Camp and I realized that I hadn't updated my sub badges for like 5 years, maybe, like almost when I first started getting partnered. So first of all, they only went to year 3, and I have people who have been like subscribed for 8 years and they just all had the same badge. And second of all, they didn't match my theme. And so I thought, okay, I think I should redo these. I can make them match my theme. And 3, I can add my branding in. And now they're all apples. So you start with 1 apple slice, then 2 apple slices, then half an apple, and then full apples. And then the apples go from green to yellow to pink to red to candy coated and like chocolate covered coated. And they all make sense because I am snackless and there's no snacks. And so it's more about thinking about things and having purpose, and not necessarily the timeline. Do you have anything to add to that part, Okaydrian?
No, I think that's perfect. Like, there are actual streams that I stay sub to. One, because I love the content, but 2, there's certain sub badges that I'm so close to that I just want. Like, I love how they look. I want the progression. Like, for example, if I was in your channel and I was a seed, or whatever, or core, I want to be a full apple. Like, I want to see the progression. If your theme is butterflies and I'm a caterpillar and I get in cocoon, I want to be a butterfly. So it is giving people a reason to come back beyond your content, because they want that celebratory moment where everyone celebrates with them to say, oh my gosh, I did it. I'm now a part of the club who had the 4 years and now I'm this distinguishing feature. So you gotta really think about that.
Absolutely. Okay, Jane, go for it. Choose a question that stands out to you.
I like this one from Crook Peon, who said, what are the best moments in the year to offer limited logo alternatives? And that's a fantastic, I just saw Twitch say, I too want to be a butterfly. That's funny. The thing is, I like that you said logo and not emotes, because that is something you can play around with. Like, my original OK Per View logo that I had, I would change it around based on not just holidays, but also season. So when it was getting closer to wintertime for me and where I lived, my logo took on an icy appearance the entire way through. If I was playing a horror game, I might give it more of a red hue or red theme thing along the way. If something funny happens in your stream, you got to think about things that reward people who are watching all the time, right? So back to the egg thing I mentioned earlier. Let's say recently you did a fundraising thing, which is part of event planning, right? So yay for that. And during the event planning, the reward for 4,000 donations to a charity of your choosing was to have an egg smashed in your face. It happens, everyone's jubilant, they celebrate it. Why not utilize that opportunity to change everything? So the next time your stream happens, maybe your logo has an egg yolk dripping off of it. Maybe your emotes have your regular emotes, but there's an egg yolk dripping off of it. Maybe there's an egg yolk animated emote or channel point, and people are wondering what just happened. Oh, were you here last stream? And if you were, it's a funny little thing that happened. And then you keep it for like maybe a month or so until maybe the joke has died down a little bit, and you swap it out. But not only does it reward the community, but it shows the community you're paying attention to active jokes and things that are happening, and you're willing to switch it up, and that incentivizes staying around. Change and things that are happening that don't change your entire brand, but it alters it. So think about jokes that have happened, things that connect with the community, changes in season, whatever it is that connects with something that happens.
I think that was really smart. It was a really good idea. You know, just being able to, I think really what we're suggesting here is like lean into once again what makes your channel unique, what happened in stream that stands out, and what's going to set you apart. What is different about you and your channel that stands out to people that is going to interest them and encourage them? Okay, moving on to our next question from Tanzik. Will there ever be a public feature to make a channel badge for something like a subathon or a marathon, kind of like we saw with Kai Cenat's Mafiathon too? That's a great question. I don't know the exact answer to that, but let me just tell you, I think it's a great idea, and I'll definitely pass it along if anyone ever asks me about that. I think that having more control over channel badges would be really cool. I too love a great channel badge, and I love opportunities that enable us to collect more badges. And, I think that we can kind of lean into that a bit. Like people like to collect, right? Whether that's, collecting drops on stream, collecting your emotes, maybe you're handing out stickers, maybe as they progress through the years, you mail them something cool. Our community members like to be a part of things, and that's definitely something that we can lean into. I want to thank you all so much for being a part of this stream today and asking questions and letting us chat with all of these fun things with you today. It was a really great show, and I really enjoyed spending time with all of you. Thank you for taking time out of your day. And remember that we have a lot of really cool updates on our Creator Camp Live site. Please check it out. I put a lot of time and effort into updating it, and there's lots of cool stuff. And I really think that it's a fun place to check out, and I'm always open to feedback. So please do check it out. It has resources on today's topics and a lot more. So think about visiting the site. I want to say a big thank you to Okaydrian for co-hosting this episode with me. It was really, really fun. And take it away. Let them know where they can find you. Once again, what you're all about. And thank you again for being here.
Okay, well, my name is Okaydrian. You can find me on everywhere. That's another good thing about branding. If you can get your same name everywhere, please do that. I struggled for so long to get Okaydrian on everything, but I've got it. So wherever you go, if you see Okaydrian, that's me. You can find me this month right now raising money for St. Jude as the St. Jude Ambassador. If you want to come through and swing by, I'm doing handheld streams. And honestly, as a Twitch Ambassador, I want to help you grow. So if I'm online and streaming and you have more questions here that I can answer for you, I would love to help grow the Twitch community, grow Creator Camp, and grow everything that involves your channel. And I hope to see you around there and maybe at TwitchCon too.
Yes, that's awesome. So make sure you follow Okaydrian if you want to see more content from them. And yes, absolutely, TwitchCon EU is coming up. Hopefully, I'll get to see some of you there. I'll be at the Creator Camp room, as one is, and can answer any questions or help you out with anything that's going on there. We are going to be rating Twitch Ambassador Kelpsy today. So we'll be saying a big Twitch Creator Camp hello to Kelpsy, one of our ambassadors. And I just want to say a big, big thank you to our production behind the scenes for making the show go so smoothly and be such a success. We really appreciate you. And thank you again to Okaydrian for being a part of all the fun. Thank you for taking time today to spend with Creator Camp. We really appreciate your company, your questions, your enthusiasm, and just being part of the fun. And we can't wait to see you again next month in our next Creator Camp live show. Thank you.